So, yeah, I got the side sword and a lot of other stuff too. This is that typical moment in an RPG LP where I'm supposed to be like, so I did some off-screen grinding, and boy did I. I ended up getting more levels than I thought I would. I got the sword, the Baldur side sword, and I've already got it up to +5. The Knights of the Ancient Kingdom of Baldur wielded these rock-solid long swords which are excellent for thrust attacks. Baldur was the home of Night King Rendel, but the kingdom was reduced to ruins after a widespread outbreak of undead. Let's see, did I pick up any other weapons? I don't think I really did. I ended up never getting the rapier. I did get a lot of Baldur shields though. I have even more in my box. This is a shield of the Knights of the Ancient Kingdom of Baldur, tweaked for improved stability. Baldur was the home of Night King Rendel, but the kingdom was reduced to ruins after a widespread outbreak of undead. So I take it they put that line of lore in there, so that if you get anything Baldur related, you get that like piece of drop. I also got the main armor, which I'm wearing. Armor worn by the Knights of the Ancient Kingdom of Baldur. It is made from thick iron plates. Baldur was the homeland of the Night King Rendel, but it came to ruin after a great many undead respawned, so that's a little bit different. I also have the gauntlets. I sacrificed my fast roll. I'm at the mid roll now. Let's see, what else did I get? Well, I have a bunch of sunlight medals. I ended up getting tons of souls because I did a lot of co-op, helping people beat the area boss. I needed to do that to grind up a certain something. Let's see. Already had the box. Okay, we'll worry about the crest later. That's the big purchase item that Andre had. I went back and saw our friend Rickert of Vinheim to get the Soul Arrow and Heavy Soul Arrow. These are very basic sorceries, which I can't even use because I don't have enough intelligence, but I want to collect them anyway. So the Soul Arrow inflicts magic damage, making them effective against iron armor, tough scales, and other physically resilient materials. And this is the same thing but bigger, more powerful, but also slower sorcery. Difficult to use due to a long cooldown and a limitation on the number of castings. So I got Great Heal Excerpt, I got Force, I got Homeward, Seek Guidance, and the Lightning Spears. So I have changed covenants off camera. I have joined the Sun Bros, the Warriors of Sunlight. The way you do, you join the Warriors of Sunlight. In order to do it, you have to interact with the statue all the way back at the beginning of the Undead Parish, over where that room underneath the Hellkite Drake. So you cannot interact with that statue unless you meet its requirement. In order to join the Warriors of Sunlight, you have to have 25 faith. Or, if you help players by defeating a boss as a White Phantom, so you put down your soapstone, and they bring you into their world and you help them beat the boss, then the requirement for joining the Warriors of Sunlight goes down by 5 faith for every time you do that. So, you know, if you do that once, it goes down to 20, twice 15, etc. So that was rather easy to do. The Lightning Spear is your reward for joining it. Just joining the Covenant, you get the Lightning Spear Miracle, which is very good, and it requires 20 faith, so I had to level that up. It is a miracle passed down to those bound by the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. Hurl Lightning Spear. Lightning Spears inflict rare lightning damage and are effective against magic, fire, and most of all, dragons. I am being invaded. See that shit just close up? That's perfect sign I'm being invaded. I was just about to say that I've been human for a while and I have not experienced an invasion just yet. That's about to change though. What I could do is bring in... Oh, I can already hear them coming in. Dark Spirit, Miyazaki's dad has invaded. Oh my god, is it a giant dad cosplay? I hope so. He's around here somewhere. He's upstairs. Okay, cool. So I called in a Sun Bro who should hopefully get here in time to help me out. This fucker could have projectiles for all I know. What's up, man? Oh, he's got the scythe. I didn't even look at his costume. Of course, he's not cosplaying it. He did get the boar helm, though. That boar has a chance to drop this damn thing, but it's really, really rare. There he is. Oh, God. His health is disgustingly big. Also, I mean, this is my first time experiencing it really here in Remastered. But Dark Souls 1 had notoriously bad netcode. And I'm dead. That could be because I'm a little over-leveled that I got a decent invasion on. Oh man, that sucked. Let's go get that bloodstain. I was gonna say, I need to be human for what I'm about to do. But that bloodstain has tons of soft humanity. You get a soft humanity for every time you successfully achieve your duty as a white phantom. So I ended up getting like 10 or 12 of them like that. Plus I got a little bit for just grinding around and killing the enemies, looking for Titanite at the sword. Actually, the sword was not that hard to get. I got really lucky with it. It was actually the first thing I got that any of the Baldur Knights dropped. So before I even got a shield or a piece of armor, I ended up getting the side sword. Which, like, never happens. I never got the rapier or the buckler, though, so the other guys, the other variant of the Baldur Knights, never dropped anything for me. Very unfortunate. So you also got this thing that I'm wearing right now, the Thurland Talisman. This is the new one I'm using. Medium for casting miracles of the gods. This talisman is only granted to high-ranking Thurland clerics. Has high miracle adjustment, which, thanks to divine protection, is not dependent upon faith. Okay, maybe I shouldn't be using this thing then. Although I think it is still technically better than some other options I have. Eventually it'll get replaced though. Eventually. Right, the whole reason I brought this out because I have Homeward on me. I don't know if this is faster. I have to go through a loading screen. Loading times seem to be okay in this game. So this might be slightly faster than running back there. So I got that 17 humanity back, so let's reverse my hollowing. I already did kindle this bonfire. Pull out my sword, and let's go back. All that time, and I ended up wasting a soft humanity. Oh well. I should be safe now. There is a timer going on in the background, so that I can't be invaded again right away. And again, I needed to be human to do what I'm about to do. These guys are annoying every time. Probably just kill the second guy, move on. So I cleaned up most of Petrus's stuff. He only has, like, I think the basic talisman and regular old heal for sale. Oh crap, I forgot about this Baldur Knight. I wasn't even looking up. He's doing the stupid parry stance. You son of a bitch. It's really easy to get got by this thing. That hollow soldier followed us. I'm really big though. Unfortunately, I don't look big because I got my ass kicked by that invader. Admittedly, I've never been very good at Dark Souls PvP. I admit it. I'm not great at it. The only game I was kind of good at it for a little while was Dark Souls 3. And then some stuff got rebalanced and my bullshit broke. I think at one point, a particular sword, the Dark Blade, was really good in PvP because it had like a stupid like attack range. And then they did something and changed it and I was garbage after that. Once my cheats were gone. These guys are still a problem. And it's easier to just clear them out. I was helping a lot of people that clearly, because I put my summon sign down over near where the boss door is, and they clearly didn't do what I just did. They would always just run past those guys, and then I'd end up getting summoned in and having to help them. So climb up. I don't want to summon you guys. Look at that bastard carrying the knight shield. So the first thing I want to do is over here. What does this say? No, that's a lie. The people love lying. Check it out. It's my buddy, it's my friend, it's Lautrec. Come on, Lautrec. So, NPC summons. Not super important in this game. In Dark Souls 2, they went with a really weird system where, like, you had to do it in order to complete quest lines with certain NPCs. It was a real pain. And, like, I think you could be punished if you failed to beat the boss with them on your first try, maybe? Look at all these signs. Like, these are all people looking to get in, except for this one. That's actual Solaire, I believe. Yeah. He gets mixed in here, but I want to bring in real Solaire. Then we'll go fight the boss, which I am going to destroy. I am so much bigger than this boss. So I'm going to let them do a lot of the physical damage. I'm going to show off the lightning spear. What's up, Solaire? He's doing the praise of the sun. FromSoftware loves this boss fight. They've done it multiple times, basically. Actually, I want to get into his butt first, because he can do a special thing that I want. So I might have to unlock to pull this off as well as I'd like. Darn it. There he goes. I think Lotrick or Solaire got it. You can cut off his tail and get this gargoyle tail axe. I think I can get it later in the game too, but it's easiest to just do it now. Oh, behind me, there's a second one. So that's the gimmick when I was like, they love it. This is what I meant. They love this particular gimmick of you fighting gargoyles on rooftops. He hates it. Good Solaire go, he's doing it. Oh crap, that had a far range. Don't hit the roof. God damn it. Trying to finish this off with style. There we go. I get nothing for helping Lotrick. Maybe a humanity? I don't know. But for... Oh yeah, I got 20 humanities from Lotrick. And the sunlight medal from Solaire. That's important. That's my 10th sunlight medal. We'll be doing something with that in the near future. Also, I'm pretty sure beating bosses in this game means that in the Undead Parish, I can no longer be invaded. I can no longer summon people in. It might affect whether or not you gain humanity from killing enemies in the area. I'm not sure. So, up here on our tower, we're going to find our first Bell of Awakening, as we were told about from Crestfallen Bro. About to get a nice, big, gorgeous view of Lordran. Or Gargoyle. And that's one bell down, one to go. We still don't really know what the bells do. All we were told is that part of the prophecy or whatever was like that a chosen undead would ring the bells and something, something, something. So if you look up there, we can see some stuff. We can see some zones. Get a good look at what's up there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to get a camera angle of it, but let's see, like down that way, sort of, like kind of where I'm pointing towards is somewhere over there is Firelink. Doesn't look too great from here. Like, it's not fully rendered, obviously, but they do a good job of making things make sense in like physical space. It's something that people really love about Dark Souls 1 versus the others. DS3 does a little bit too, and so does Bloodborne, but it's way more obvious in this game because you can walk to everything. What's up, man? He just appears here.
I am Oswald of Karim, the Pardoner. Thou appearest to lack faith. Yet magnanimous are the gods. Cometh thou to confess, or to accuse? For indeed all sins my domain.
This guy's cool. Learn his gesture. Well, what is it? This is my favorite one. So what does he sell? Purging Stone. I'm probably going to buy a couple of these. Let's just buy them now in case I need them later, because I'd rather not need them later, but, you know, it's like you'd rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it. What this thing does, it is an ash-colored stone encasing a skull. Secret treasure of Arster, the Earl of Kareem. Reduces curse buildup and breaks curse. Humans are helpless against curses and can only redirect their influence. The purging stone does not dispel curses, but receives them as a surrogate. The stone itself was once a person or some other being. Oh boy, Kareem is real fond of that practice. So there's a really, really nasty status effect in Dark Souls 1 called Curse or Death. It's petrification. It's turning into stone. And it's more aggressive in this game than in any other Souls game. So if you get it, if you get petrified, if you get Curse, it sucks. When you revive at the bonfire, your health has been, I believe, halved. It's a little confusing. On the 1.0 console version of the game 7 years ago, it was really, really aggressive, but they made some changes and patches that eventually have, of course, carried over into the PC Prepare to Die edition and then remastered. So it's not as bad as it literally was the first day this game came out, but it's still pretty bad. You do not want to die via curse, and if you do, you want to have the Purging Stone on you so that you can immediately cure it. Otherwise, you'd have to go find a whole different NPC, and it's a big waste of time. It sucks. The Indictment, this is an online item, I'm sure. Slip sold by Bishop of Velka, Goddess of Sin. If you are killed by an invader, use this to report the crime of that trespasser. The indicted player will be added to a list of unfortunate souls who will one day face the wrath of the Blades of the Dark Moon. Yeah! Oh, I love it. I'm gonna buy it. It's only 200 souls. So, I got invaded, and, I don't know if it'll work now. Maybe it will. But, Blades of the Dark Moon is a separate covenant, which does exactly what it says it does. They're kind of like the police, basically, because they're blue, like their phantoms are blue, so they're like the cops. They will track down, specifically be summoned into worlds of people who invade. So if you're a notorious invader, you might get this thing thrown on you, and you might run into one of the Blades of the Dark Moon, which is a covenant I will undoubtedly be joining in the future. Homeward Bones and Book of the Guilty, another online play item. Check list of indicted players. The Goddess of Sin Velka oversees this list of the guilty who have disrespected the gods or their covenants and shall one day face the wrath of Blades of the Dark Moon. Sure, let's buy this as well. That's a unique item. The indictments are like consumables. They're one-time uses. Yo, he sells, what is this? This is a Miracle, Karmic Justice. Miracle of the Black-Haired Witch of Velka. Temporary auto counter versus heavy damage. For each sin there is a punishment, and it is the task of Goddess Velka to define the sin and met out the punishment. And he sells Velka's Talisman. I think this thing scales with intelligence. It does. See down there, it is A with intelligence. I think it's the only talisman in the game that does that, because usually they scale with faith. Medium for casting Miracles of the Gods. This black tuft of hair that serves as a talisman belongs to Velka, Goddess of Sin. It casts miracles not by drawing upon faith, but intelligence. So that's an interesting route you can go. If you know you want to build towards intelligence, you can do sorceries, but you can also use this thing to do miracles. And yes, he sells the rings, the bite rings, which are from Kareem. One of the infamous bite rings, this is the blood bite one, commissioned by Sir Arster of Kareem. Despite the dreadful rumors surrounding its creation, this ring is an unmistakable asset in its ability to help prevent bleeding. So it increases your bleed resistance, which we have not seen yet, the bleed status. And the poison bite ring, one of the infamous rings commissioned by Sir Arster of Kareem, and it's the same thing, but it helps prevent poison. So Kareem, where this dude's from, that we're talking to, remember I said like, oh, they're fond of this practice in Kareem. Even when we were in part 0 and there was like a character that was from Kareem, I was like, I've heard that place sucks. And it's because of this stone bullshit where they seem to have some kind of really backwards way or magic of hearts or whatever that like turns people or their humanity or whatever into stones. It sounds really messed up. Like these rings are made from human beings. They're made from people. It's not great. So what this guy does, can I talk to him?
How honorable of you.
Hey, don't judge me. Don't judge me for buying indictments. He's like, you couldn't take your loss like a man, huh, you bitch?
Greetings, and welcome back. I am pleased to see thee preserving thine humanity.
I assume these are like unique lines. I assume you wouldn't have said that if I wasn't human. So he resolves you of your sin. So what that does is there are some punishments for abandoning covenants. At least there used to be. I'm not sure if it's changed in Remastered. I never really understood it, and I never really worried about it, because typically in Dark Souls, like, if you want to join a covenant, you want to do it for a specific reason, and ultimately when you leave that covenant, you probably don't have a reason to go back. You're probably moving on to the next thing that you want to do, so it's not a big deal. But where he does come in handy is if you really screw up and you accidentally aggro one of your NPCs. If you just screw up and you swing your sword by complete accident at one of your friends and now they want to kill you, you can come to this guy, give him some souls, he'll absolve you of your sin, and he'll sort of reset the game as if that never happened. There is one like area in particular, or one like event with an NPC where I could think where that might really come in handy.
Anytime. It is only human to commit a sin.
Bye, Oswald. I still haven't figured out the grave lording thing. Nothing crazy has happened. I haven't really experienced grave lording yet, so I'm still a little shaky on the details. Alright, we got a better look at some of this stuff over here. So remember that like exit, that elevator that's in this building over here, like goes straight down to Firelink, so it's kind of down there somewhere. And there's that up there. Then off to, not really going to get to see it, but like below us straight ahead is the Undead Burg and where I fought Taurus Demon and all that. Alright, moving on. Well, I'm going to have to work backwards through the zone because I have 10 sunlight medals. So I want to go cash them in at the like Covenant headquarters. Then we'll probably need to go to Firelink because I've beaten a boss, and typically what happens is when you beat bosses, stuff changes at Firelink. Or at least, like, you know, an NPC might have like a new line of dialogue. Okay. That guy's moving around. I thought he was coming for me. I was like, I'm gonna have to kill him. Don't want him chasing me around. Eventually I found like the optimal path for dealing with all these Baldur Knights. Here's one of my friends. This is the guy that ultimately dropped the sword. Just gonna take care of this guy. Don't want him following me. The sword's really strong. Like, I used the lightning spear mostly in that boss fight, but man, the sword does a lot of damage. Okay, I need to bring this guy out because I know he can see me from the doorway. The other two will be fine, though. See, like, that's a one-hit kill on the R2. Yay, Titanite Shard. So there are a few items I haven't picked up. The halberd, this is a pretty popular weapon. Kind of combines, like, axe and spear properties. Long-hilted weapon mixing spear and axe is difficult to handle, requiring both strength and dexterity. The halberd has two elementary attacks, spear-like thrusting and large sweeping swings. However, one false swing and the wielder is left wide open. So this thing unfortunately has that property that I've talked about where if you miss it, like, there's a big stagger. I don't have enough strength to use it, but I can two-hand it. So you'll see it right here, like when I swing and don't hit anything, there will be like an extra step forward. There we go. I hate that. I hate it so much. I feel like if you want to use spear-type weapons, you want to go for something that doesn't have that property. Though, of course, the exchange for that on the halberd is that it does a lot of damage, and it scales with two different things. So it can be a really great weapon if you want to like invest in going with that type of build. It's called a quality build. So let me look at its stats one more time. Yeah, it's D, strength, and skill. I imagine those both probably go up to like high C's or low B's maybe. All the way up to plus 15. So if you want to go with the quality build, then you'll probably love that. Basement key, that's an important piece of progression. Oh yeah, this gate was closed when we stopped last time, but I went and opened it. I need to like take those guys seriously. They could totally kill me. Let's read the basement key while these guys shoot at the wall. Opens the narrow passage leading below at the far face the great bridge in the Undead Burg. The lower Undead Burg is a treacherous place. Do not turn your back on the wily thieves or the wild dogs who serve the Capra demon. So that opens the door near where we first met Solaire. Also, there's an item up here on this little bridge that I never got. And I realized it looking back at the footage. I was like, how did I miss it? I was even thinking about it. I also didn't get the item that guy dropped. I'll get that in a second. As well as that other one. I really just want to kill these crossbow bastards. Also remember that my item discovery increases with soft humanity, so if it seems like enemies are dropping a lot of stuff, that's why. The Alluring Skull. I knew what this item was. I don't know why I didn't pick it up last time. I'd kind of forgotten what its name was, but I know what its purpose is. A skull with meekly lingering souls. Throw to shatter and spread souls to attract certain types of enemies. Souls are a concentration of life, and the life-starved hollows are lured by its power. Not effective for all enemies. So the reason that this thing is exactly right here at this spot is that you can, when you first enter this area, you can run up these stairs, ignore the boar and the armor, pick this thing up, and throw it down near this fire, and the boar will be attracted by it, and he'll just catch himself on fire, and that's one way to kill him. But I did it like the boring way. I just stuck my sword up his butt until he died. Hey, another Titanite shard, cool. So as you can imagine by my 16 soft humanity, that I have not lost anything yet. So any deaths I've suffered have not been permanent. I've always been able to pick up my bloodstain. Not sure what that sound just was. I don't know if you guys heard that. Maybe that's the rats downstairs. I feel like I'm hearing things in this version of the game that I've never heard before. So here's the Altar of Sunlight, which activates once you meet the requirements. I've already joined the Covenant, but now I can offer the Sunlight Medal. This might be a quality of life change. You can now offer multiple at a time. At least I don't remember you being able to do this. I think it had to be one at a time previously. So we'll give it 10 Sunlight Medals. This will rank the Covenant up. And I'm rewarded with Great Lightning Spear, an improved version of what I already had. I probably don't meet the requirements for though. It could be like 24 faith or something maybe. Let's see. Great Lightning Spear, 30 faith. I gotta rank up faith 10 times to be able to use this thing. It's a miracle passed down to those bound by the Warrior of Sunlight Covenant. Hurl Giant Lightning Spear. The spear of the god of war who inherited the sunlight of Lord Gwyn, but had respect only for arms and nothing else. That's Gwyn's son, the firstborn. So now that I've got that thing, let's, I think now would be a good time to head on over to Firelink. We'll talk with Petrus, we'll talk with, Lotrek, he's probably still hanging out there. He might have something interesting to say. Hopefully there's something to do there. Oh, right, I didn't kill two of the Balder Knights in here. I'm just going to run past them. Into the elevator. There's another really interesting thing over here, actually, that I want to take care of before progressing to other areas. The world's really open to me right now. There are, of course, a lot of areas to go. There's still, obviously, the two areas linked to Firelink, the Bone Zone and the Low Road to New Londo. But both of those are still a bit too big, still a bit too challenging to do. But there's a third area out of Firelink that we haven't seen yet, actually. A more hidden route. Or rather a fourth one. Because I guess the third one would be the one to the Berg. What's up, Petrus?
Oh, hello. Miracle?
Oh, nothing new? What about talk?
Very well. Through.
Oh, same stuff. See that he really doesn't have anything for me anymore.
Come again.
Shut up, Petrus. You're dead to me now. I don't have to worry about your bullshit for the rest of the game. Hey, did you hear me ring that bell?
Why, what a surprise. I didn't expect you to make it. Oh, somebody rang the bell. Wait, was it you? You never give up, do you? I don't know how you do it. Well, don't stop now. Only one more. But it's going to be suicide. What's wrong? Get a bit of a scare out there? No problem. Have a seat and get comfortable. We'll both be hollow before you know it. Well, what are you going to do? I've already decided. I don't really care. I'm simply crestfallen.
That's a little on the nose.
Hmm? What now? I'm not up for...
Alright, that's all his dialogue. What about you, Lautrec? Oh, he's gone. He must be off doing stuff. Actually, now's a good time to talk about it. Notice how Lautrec was summonable? And you remember how I was talking about how Solaire, given like the rules of the world, he's probably not from the same world as the Chosen Undead, but he's like his own Chosen Undead on his own mission? Well, could Lautrec be the same thing? Like, well, that's what I think. We can get more into it next time. But to me, the fact that just like Solaire, Lautrec is summonable means that he's probably not technically from your world, but he's in his own world as well. But sometimes your worlds touch.